There's nothing wrong with showing emotions. I think the biggest complaint nowadays from a lot of girls is a lot of men out there don't show emotions, and they're heartless. Um, they don't know how to feel. They can't relate to us, and some of that could be from from their upbringing. For a lot of men, I think they were raised in a household where their fathers or their brothers or whoever they lived with sort of made that difficult for them to express themselves. I think they were raised in a way where their fathers maybe was like, hey, you shouldn't cry. A man doesn't cry. A man doesn't hurt. A man doesn't show vulnerability. He has to be strong. He has to be, the only emotion he can feel is anger. And when he's angry, he should do whatever his, his anger guides him to. And that's really not the right way to grow, right? That's not the best household to be in. But unfortunately, a lot of guys come from that background, and they're made to not show emotions. And a lot of girls are out there frustrated. Why this man can't feel, why this man can't relate to my sadness and my hurt and my pain. This is because he has his own trauma. He has his own pain that he has to deal with. He has to break out of that shell. He has to come out of that jail to hopefully be a lot more vulnerable. And I think it doesn't mean that you're not a man if you show emotions. You're created with those. If something happens to you, you lose your job, you lose a family member, you get hurt, and things like that, you show emotions, and it's pretty normal. I think for a man, it's important to not be overly emotional. To allow your emotions to cloud your next step. To become someone who doesn't have control over himself once he feels those emotions. You don't want to become that person either, because you also have to be the source of strength for others. You have to be a leader at times. You have to be poised. You have to behave in a way where, yeah, you're able to feel for the next person, but you're also capable of making sure, like, you give direction to that person, or you give direction to yourself. And you think of a solution, and you think of a way out. I think it's easier for a woman to be overly emotional, because there are things, there are hormones, there are situations where a woman, may be put in that place where she does become overly emotional. And sometimes her emotions are just a little too much for her. Sometimes she may need a little bit of a direction, a little bit of guidance, especially when she's in that state. But for a man, I think, given how he is, and given the leader at times that he needs to be, it's important to strike a balance and to carry yourself in a way where you feel for others, you're vulnerable, you can relate, you can share in that emotion, share in that sadness, but at the same time, not allowing your emotions to control every situation that you go into.